before I started the business, I looked for not only financial investors who to put their money with my money and but also their time and brains with mine. It's easy for anybody in this part of the world to start a business or to find funds to start a business, but it's about the right funds. It's not about where to get the money from. You can approach a bank, you can go to venture capital companies, you can go to angel investors,
private equity, all of it.
You can go to family and friends, and you can raise funds easily. But
I
didn't want to just raise funds. I wanted people who put their hands with me in the business, and these people were my friends.
Let's be honest, cheap, watered-down drinks aren't cutting it anymore. Raw Beverage Trading partners with venues that want to win. We develop bold, consistent, damn good products made with real ingredients because your customers can taste the difference. Matcha, we're on it. Cold brew, best in class. We're not here to chase pennies. We're here to build brands, loyalty, and bottom line profits. Stop letting cost controllers call the shots. Raw is where margin meets meaning. If you're looking for a partner, not just a supplier, contact sales@rawcoffee.ae or check the show notes for details. Welcome to the Map It Forward Middle East podcast, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and this is episode 1 of a brand new 5-part series with sort of a returning guest. This is Osamah's first time on the podcast, not live. So Osamah Alawwam from Roasting House, ladies and gentlemen. Osamah, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much for having me again, and this time not live.
Not live. So what I was about to say is Osamah has been on the podcast a few times, but that's at World of Coffee. And so I have been hounding, and hounding is the right word. I have been hounding Osamah for a couple of years to come on the podcast and have a long format conversation. It's finally happening, and the great thing about this, I'm a believer that things happen when they need to happen. And this is one of those things that happened when it needed to happen. Given all that's going on in the world with the coffee crisis, with the global challenges, let's say, that are happening right now, there are many of them. This is like the perfect time to have somebody like you on the podcast. So in this series, folks, we're talking about the challenges of running a business in the Middle East. The date that we're recording this is the 18th of June. And for context, there is a lot of geopolitical challenges that are happening around the world right now. We don't know if we're going to enter a world war or not enter a world war. There's a lot going on. And as is the way, when these kind of global challenges happen, commodities become a weapon for different countries, which means that the challenges that are happening in coffee already, the coffee crisis, could either get worse or nothing happens to them. Typically and historically, these challenges get more strained. So Osamah, I'm honoured to have you on to discuss this conversation. Our first episode of our 5-part series is we're talking about how you became an entrepreneur. And I think this is a really great way for us to start the conversation because for those who, and there are going to be very few people in the region who don't know who you are, but the reach of the Middle East podcast has gone global, which is, alhamdulillah, it's really fantastic.
Awesome. And
so it's exciting for me to get to present you to those on a global level who aren't aware of who you are and who Roasting House is. Roasting House is a powerhouse in the Middle East. Alhamdulillah.
Thank you.
And so that's why I say it's an honor for me to have you on the podcast. Our approach with the podcast in the Middle East is to present entrepreneurs and business owners who we think people should aspire to be like. And you're definitely one of those people. So let's start by having you tell people who you are and a little bit about Roasting House, and then we'll talk about your journey to becoming an entrepreneur.
Sure. First of all, thank you once again, Lee, for having me once again.
It's my pleasure.
In this beautiful arena where coffee talk is exchanged and challenges, opportunities, and the way forward is mapped out. So
Oh, boom.
yes,
Map it forward,
that's
mapped out. Well
exactly.
done.
And I think it's exciting. It's exciting whilst at the same time challenging, because
Mm,
it's a unique time frame that we're living in. Uh,
mm,
and I think that helped to shape who Osamah Alawwam is today. So Osamah Alawwam, graduate of business law and international business from
mashallah.
Alhamdulillah, from London. I grew up in the UK because my father used to work for a Saudi company that's based in the UK. So my whole family also spent some time in the UK as well. So this is where I got to know and smell coffee, really, waking up smelling the coffee every day, whether it's being roasted for Saudi coffee or brewed for a simple cup of coffee every day with
Hmm.
my father. So I grew up smelling coffee every day, much like a lot of people in our region who feel that coffee is an imperative part of their daily regime, essentially. Coffee has always been part of every Arab's family, uh, and this I think adds to the entire ecosystem of coffee to Arabs, where coffee is part of our generosity. Coffee is part of our way of exchanging talks and poetry and politics and philosophy and religion. So coffee has shaped me ever since I've been a young boy. Um, Ever since I graduated from London, I've always had this dream to make an impact and a difference, whether it's to my family or to the community at large. It wasn't necessarily about coffee. It was about something that I would present to them that would enable them to live a better life
Mm.
or experience something in a better way. So my studies have enabled me to achieve entrepreneurship successfully, I suppose, because I was able to apply the skills that I learned and developed at school, college, and university. But also experience has also developed who I am today. I started roasting at home with a popcorn roaster, much like you do, and much like everybody who started roasting as passion.
Was how many years ago was that? Did you start with popcorn machine?
15 years, maybe 16. No, more.
Mashallah.
Yeah, more. I
Wow.
yeah. 20 years.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Can I ask? Like, what makes you think I'm going to get a pop? I mean, everybody starts with a popcorn roaster, right?
Yeah, of course.
I'm always fascinated by how you got to the popcorn machine.
Sure. So it all started when I got green beans that my mother got from Saudi. So that's maybe 20 years ago.
Mashallah.
I always ask myself, what is Arabic coffee? Is it because it's grown in Arabic land? Is it grown in Saudi Arabia? Is it Arabic and Turkish coffee is grown in Turkey, and that's makes it Turkish? And espresso is grown in Italy, and that's why it's espresso.
Right.
So the very first thing that I did was to take a bunch of or a pinch of coffee essentially from my mother's
Okay.
stash, which she got from Saudi, and I put it in foil, and I just wrapped up the foil and put it on the stove, on
Oh,
the gas there.
oh, straight on the burners,
Yeah.
straight on the gas.
Yes.
Wow.
And this is my first experience with roasting coffee, and it went
How did that go?
horrendous, of course. It started to burn a little bit, and then I started to smell a little bit like what coffee should smell like. But then
Right.
it started to crack, and it was the first time that I hear what first crack is about.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is when I got scared and turned off the gas, and I slowly opened it, got the roasted or semi-roasted burnt coffee beans out, and then crushed it with a pestle and mortar. Also, again, batch or يعني منحاز, or the many names for it, the منحاز, the badge, many names for it, still mortar essentially. And I started to crush it and grind it and pound it to a fine powder. And I had a small espresso machine, and I made the worst espresso ever.
Wow, dude, you went from that, like you crushed it old school Arab style and
Yes,
you put it straight into an espresso machine.
right into an espresso machine, and
I've
then
never thought of doing that.
I
That's interesting.
how you start to learn. You screw up things, you learn from it.
My hat off to you, sir. Well done. The courage required there.
And I made sure that I did this when my mom and dad were not at home, so they don't realize
As you would,
as you would, yes, as you would.
because you could have burnt the house down. Let's be
I could
real.
have, but alhamdulillah,
Alhamdulillah.
it was a safe trial. I realized that coffee roasting is not as easy as it is, and there are things that you need to go through. And I started to read online. There was a forum, an online forum called Coffee Geek. I think it still exists, and
Yeah.
I owe them a lot of knowledge that I was able to get from them, whether it's from roasting or grinding or latte art. And ever since, I've spent immense hours just reading on Coffee Geek and whatever content that I was able to access. Of course, all of it was in English. Arabic content
Right.
in non-existent at the time. And in fact, it's still scarce, and that puts a mandate on us as coffee owners, coffee business owners, to increase content in Arabic and awareness for sure. So I started reading, and I realized that a lot of people who want to roast coffee move on to air poppers, air popcorn roasters. And this is where I started to save money and invest into a 20 pounds,
Bless your
yes,
heart.
20 pounds air popcorn roaster. And I bought my first roaster, and I then started to look for green bean traders or roasters, traditional roasters who would sell green beans. Traditional, I mean Arabic, again, Arabic, in Arabic sort of ethnic stores in London would sell Turkish coffee or Arabic style coffee, and I would ask them for an exception to sell me green beans. And then I realized there is a place called Whole Foods, which was at the time just starting in the UK, who would agree to sell me green beans for me to roast at home. And this is when I
Wow.
started going to university and had less time to roast. But of course, I had a little bit more experience in roasting and reading and latte art and everything else. And it all started from there. It all started from foil that I almost burned down my family's house with.
Alhamdulillah, that story ends very, very well, folks.
Alhamdulillah.
So you go to university,
Yes.
you get your law degree and your business degree.
Yeah. So it's
and
a
Go
dual.
on.
Yeah. It's a dual.
joint degree.
Yeah. Yes.
And then you leave and go into the corporate world, or you leave and decide, I want to start a business?
No, leave and go into the corporate world. But in my own business. So I was trading as my self-employed essentially, and it was for business development between GCC companies and UK-based
In the UK.
in the UK.
Awesome.
I was still roasting my own coffee. I would roast whatever I want for the week and just brew it really quickly before I head out to the office. I worked with a company that was based in a hotel in London, in a 5-star hotel, and we did trade shows for them. We did business development with anything from selling airplane engine oil to airplane fuel to property in the UK to real estate, commercial real estate to funds to it's a variety of things that I did, and nothing to do with coffee for sure. But then came the economic crisis in 2008, 2009, and the business slowed down, which made me think about the next step, which is moving back to Saudi, where business was growing essentially, as opposed to where things were happening in the UK and the rest of the world. And I saw that there is better potential for me to move back to Saudi and be closer to my family. And this is when I moved back to Saudi with a passion for coffee, but definitely no idea that I would start a business in coffee.
Really?
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, help people understand the landscape at the time. I've had the privilege of working with Sara Al-Ali, so I understand the 2030 vision for Saudi, etc., etc. Would you mind explaining to people that as you talk about how when you returned to Saudi, the business landscape was changing and it hasn't stopped since. Could you help give them an understanding of why entrepreneurship was kind of booming at the time?
Of course, of course. So when I moved back at the end of 2009, I started my first job in November 2009. So it's actually almost 2010. And this is when I realized that things are changing. Things are starting to change. And I went into the corporate world as an employee for the Saudi Central Bank, one of the Saudi Central Bank's private companies, essentially. We're doing payment systems, and I realized that the e-government solutions that the government was investing in, or heavily investing in, is going to shape our future in a much better way. I realized I saw in depth what it is moving from paper-based government transactions to something that is entirely automated. And that really inspired me to see what's going to happen for the future, and to see a lot more younger generations involved into the business, both male and female. I've seen enablement move from, because I would spend a year in the UK, and then we would visit for 10 days, 2 weeks, and then we would come back next year. And every single year I would see the changes happening, right?
Yeah, wow.
But they were a little bit slow. So year on year, you would see the changes happening. But ever since 2016, 2015, 16, 17, the changes were so fast and so vast. But at the same time, everybody was ready. Everybody was dreaming. And everybody is like, yes, bring it on. Let's make it happen. And that enabled me to say, okay, 2016, I'm ready, baby. I'm ready to leave the world and continue my business. So in 2013 is when I officially launched the roasting house after a year's development, a year's research. And when I say research, we went immensely into both financial models as well as the technical side of this.
Coffee.
Yeah, coffee. So the technical side of this is, where will we get green beans? Osamah is really specific about his green beans, but green bean traders for specialty coffee or coffee with the story were non-existent at the time. All you had was Colombia, Yemen, Harar, maybe a little bit of Kenya, and that's it. India as Robusta, and that's it. You don't know where it comes from, you don't know the story. Sometimes they would even refer to coffee as coffee from America, being from Guatemala or Costa Rica or Colombia.
Okay. They don't differentiate it.
And they still use the same term for cardamom, for instance, American or Indian cardamom. But then when you turn back out to the back, you say product of Guatemala or product of whatever.
Okay. Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense now. I was confused when I bought some cardamom from Dira the other day.
Yes.
And I kept saying to the gentleman, we're from America, California. He said no, and he looked at me like I was silly for considering. Okay, now I get it. Thanks for.
Yeah. So that's the market that I had to deal with. So how am I going to import green beans? Where am I? What are the legalities behind importing beans? Food and Drug Authority regulations that I had to follow. And so before I started the business, I looked for not only financial investors to put their money with my money, but also their time and brains with mine. It's easy for anybody in this part of the world to start a business or to find funds to start a business, but it's about the right funds. It's not about where to get the money from. You can approach a bank, you can go to venture capital companies, you can go to angel investors,
private equity, all of it.
You can go to family and friends, and you can raise funds easily. But
I
didn't want to just raise funds. I wanted people who put their hands with me in the business. And these people were my friends, the closer ones who saw me roast and try on them and believed in the dream that I had. And that dream was to spread specialty coffee culture, elevate coffee standards, and elevate the customer experience. That dream that I had as a young boy, which is to make an impact and to change people's lives to the better.
Alhamdulillah. As I said, folks, it's a It's a story that has a lovely ending to it. So in the next episode, we're going to talk about how you built Roasting House to be the business that it is today. So folks, join us for that in the next episode. Peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day. This episode is part of a 5-part series produced by Mapper Forward. Check the full playlist and guest details in the show notes, as well as how you can support our work in the coffee industry. Become a premium YouTube subscriber, explore our Patreon and any brands we've partnered with to bring you this podcast. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really does help us grow our audience.